I didn't notice the signs when I went to Kashmir. I posted that everything was absolutely fine. This was 6 months back, 7 months back. I went to Srinagar. I didn't see the sandbags. I didn't see cops anywhere. And I said, oh my God, normalcy. I actually saw a van with Modi's poster and BJP flags going. And I said, Srinagar mein BJP. Kaise ho sakta hai?
Unheard of. Unheard of, right.
And I met with people who said, badal gaya hai and all that. But at
I'm
that
just
time
worried.
also, yeah.
Sorry.
I know, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I heard people saying that, badal gaya hai, but Bibi, आप देख के चलिए, these are surface level things. Nah, surface level कैसे हो सकता है? I was so thrilled to see a change.
Yeah.
Having seen the 90s, I was thrilled to see the change.
Right.
Here. Then I interviewed a former separatist on the podcast, spoke to him, and he said, after the podcast, he said, ये सब तो ठीक है, but be careful. जो conversations लोगों के drawing rooms में होती है ना, there is still drawing room या whatever they call it, like
समझ गया मैं, चौराहा हो गया उनका, whatever, मंडली हो गई, right?
So there is still anger, there is all these things that happen in the country, in the rest of the country, उसका असर पड़ रहा है, and there is still talk. This militancy hasn't ended. Please don't think that everything is absolutely okay, 370 हटा के. There are still elements who want that return of the gun culture, return of that, and not possible. I didn't air that episode that week. Pahalgam happened.
Whoa. So this is like the week.
The week. So I told him, I said, you have to come back. I have to re-record this. I have to re-record it because, well, he's not a former militant. He's a former separatist.
So somebody who subscribed to the ideology but did not take up arms.
Did not take up arms. His father was a Hurriyat leader. He also was in the Hurriyat. He was with Mirwai's faction, which is considered the moderate faction. So I told him, Bilal साहब आपको वापस आना पड़ेगा क्योंकि जो आपने कहा था, जो मैंने कहा था, that super confidence level that I was talking in. And when I played back the tape, I hate looking back at my... When I played back, I said, sure, I sound such a pompous ass. Claiming कि सब कुछ normal है. नहीं है भाई, ये हो गया ना. कहाँ पे normal? किस बात पे छाती पीट रहे थे हम?
But you know, I don't blame you. One day before this, I was with Nitin Gokhale, who's also part of at least the security intelligence community in that he talks about it, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke for about 2 hours. Himanshu was with me, and throughout the conversation, we were saying, look, our primary enemy is China. Pakistan's a past story. We don't talk about Pakistan anymore, and this, that. And we had the whole conversation. I understood how national security works and intelligence works and whatever. And the next day this happens, I call him up. I'm like, we need to re-record because everything we've said will fall flat on its face in light of what has happened. In some sense, I don't think anybody saw it coming.
Yeah.
I don't think Kashmir is somehow weirdly close to at least my heart, and I feel like Indian heart. Like there's something very passionate about the relationship we have with Kashmir. It probably is that we grew up around enough Kashmiri Pandits and saw them tremble in fear on their dinner tables. I actually did see some of that growing up without having any context. I'm 12 years of age. I'm sitting with my best friend at dinner table and they're telling me what their family's seen. And I'm shocked. And so Kashmir gets us very riled up. And I think we allowed ourselves a brief moment of happiness, a brief moment of normalcy in our own imaginations. We didn't see it coming, but we were hopeful. And then it was taken from us. And now I don't know what to make of it. I mean, for the first week of after this happened, I was angry. And I wanted war, right? Like I'm a young, passionate guy. I was like, we will show them. But the conversations I've had since have really made me think about it deeper. And I understand that this is not a kill the militants issue because ideology reproduces itself. More people, more anger. I think we have to have a multi-pronged strategic approach of which kinetic action has to be part of it. Pakistan needs to be shown that they cannot do this. But I think this has to end once and for all in a broader aspect. I don't know how you think about it.
I don't think it's going to end once and for all.
No.
Prakhar. Unfortunately. I want to have the optimism of youth which you have to say that end it once and for all. But I have probably, this is what made me very sad, that I have the vision of experience. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't have to have that rear view mirror all the time.
Right.
But I've lived the 90s. I've reported Kashmir. I've seen it all. I'm getting a little emotional. I shouldn't. We should keep the emotions out of it, we are told all the time. But it's impossible. How? How to keep the emotions out of it? Military action will never end militancy, will never end terrorism. If we don't learn that from experience of others, then we will make the same mistake again and again. I don't want your generation to make that mistake which my generation made. I don't want India to make the same mistakes which America made. Did it end for them? War on terror?
No.
Nothing. It didn't end. My dad was posted in Gaza in 1962. Gaza is still burning. He was posted as part of the peacekeeping mission. Peace hasn't come to Gaza since then.
No.
So, I don't believe that military action is going to do it. Of course, we have to take a military action in some way or the other.
Right.
But now I'm treading on difficult terrain because I don't want our youth to hold back or pull back from that anger. Anger is necessary to take certain actions. But when it comes to wars and things, street cannot dictate.
Yeah.
Street ought not to dictate.
Agreed.
Right?
Right.
Personal reasons ought not to dictate also.
Agreed.
After 9/11, America was baying for blood. Went into a war that was not necessary. Or went and found an opponent just ki kahin to marna hai to chalo maro. Right? They didn't find the WMD. They didn't find. They went after who?
Yeah.
Didn't go after. When they had absolute intelligence. So agar hum bolein ki hamari intelligence failure hai that Pahalgam happened. Look, the intel guys have quashed so many other attempts, so many other things. You must have been a child or you must have been in school, in middle school or whatever, jahan, blasts used to happen all over the country.
Yeah. Delhi CP, matlab, I remember 2001 ki parliament mein gunmen ghum rahe hain. And I have memories of that.
You have memories, right? So these are traumas. These are not just memories.
For me, I was 6.
But
So for me,
it's a trauma, Prakhar. It's there somewhere in your mind.
Interesting.
And when this incident happens, that comes to the forefront. So your anger is not just because an incident has happened. You are made to relive something जो आपने डब्बे में डाल के पीछे रख दिया है. Because our parents never taught us to deal with trauma or never thought that ये इसका कोई traumatic effect हो रहा है हमारे mind पे, right?
Right.
Who knew?
Right.
In the Parliament attack, I've lost a cameraman in that attack. It's a very bizarre thing. जैसे ये कैमरा है ना, ये हमारा वीडियो कैमरा में लेंस कैप होता है जो लटकता है.
ठीक.
इससे.
So that it doesn't fall, right?
Yeah. So because it's tied by a kind of a thread. So the bullet ricocheted on that lens cap and lodged itself on the spine of my cameraman. And at that time, the ambulances were only for the MPs, because सब डर रहे थे कि MPs. किसी को पता नहीं लगा कि ये गिरा है क्योंकि बुलेट लगी है इसको. So he was picked up physically and that lodged itself deeper into the spine. So he survived it for about, I think, a year. He was paralyzed completely, but they could not operate and take that out because it was lodged in his spine. And
Because
he
if they
died.
took it out, he's going to die.
He's going to die. So we, as in all us reporters, lived that trauma for a whole year. All of us who knew him lived that trauma. You can turn around and say, हाँ, उस time मैं reporting कुछ और कर रही थी या कहे. But we've all lived through that. My cameraman in Srinagar was killed by a parcel bomb. There's a Mushtaq Nagar named after him. He was 23. What were you doing when you were 23? मजे कर रहे थे.
Yeah, nothing serious. Nothing serious. Nothing consequential.
He was the only earning member for his family. At 23, a parcel bomb killed him in militancy in Kashmir. So, and he was just a couple of years younger than me. That's all. I must have been 26 or 27 when this happened. Just a couple of years younger than me. That's all. I was a young mother. And ये सब trauma हम relive करते हैं.
Right.
There are many Kashmiri Hindus, millions today when I say, because thousands escaped from there. Unke bacche hain. One of our reporters in Washington DC interviewed a woman whose parents had fled, right? And she said, I relived my parents' agony when Pahalgam happened. Kahan Washington DC, kahan Pahalgam?
True.
Right? So what I'm saying is that it's not as if government of India, after we record this, maybe it happens tomorrow, day after, we don't know when. Right? So before you air this, it's possible that some action, kinetic action happens. But even if that happens, it's not over.
It's
That's what
just
I'm
begun
telling.
in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to continue, because Pakistan cannot let Kashmir be a normal Indian state. It goes against their grain. As they say, it's their dukhti rag, it's their jugular vein.
Right.
They will do anything and everything. And I think just last night there was, they've said that all the dams they have listed on the rivers, and said it's time for us to take these back, which is rubbish.
Right.
They can't
Sure.
take it back unless they are planning to annex Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. They can't take those dams back. If they blow up the dams, the water will come to them and
Flooding will
flood
happen.
them.
Yeah.
So it's a rubbish thing.
It's war rhetoric.
But it's all rhetoric.
Yeah, it's war rhetoric. Yeah.
So, I don't know where we are going to go. It's just that whatever decisions are taken, it shouldn't be done in a hot-headed manner. So people in the media should also be, I think, exercising some degree of caution where they can, to watch that they don't apply undue pressure on the government. And I'm not saying just media, even
Common folk.
Common folk.
Yeah.
It could be school principals, teachers, parents. Talk to your... If you think as a principal your job is only about grades, no. Have the class teachers speak to the students. Teach them this, because when they go home, they're watching that trauma. They may not be speaking to their parents about it. And in most homes, parents don't talk about these kind of things.
These are very difficult things to talk about at home. Yeah.
बंद करो इसको, पढ़ाई करो,
Right.
फालतू की काम मत करो, सफाई करो, अपना कमरा साफ करो.
Right.
This is the kind of conversation that most parents have with their children.
Right.
So it's the job of everybody, not necessarily leaders, but in some form responsible citizens, to speak to young minds, to influence them.
Guys, if you're interested in more content like this where it actually makes you think and explore how you think inside your head, dude, subscribe, man.